of it already. Just well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Raw review. So, Raw was a little bit better. Better, not good. Let's just say better. You had a return of Braun Strowman. You had finally Raw going off the air with something other than a boring ass match. So that was different. It was decent. It was, a little bit of intrigue. Instead of, ending it with a normal match and the guy who wins just celebrating at the end like we always get. So you had a little bit of a different flavor at the end of the show, but that doesn't mean this show's got a long way to go. And as we all noticed over all the years in Raw and WWE history, when they got one good week or they do something decent or they take one, good step forward, it's always 10 gigantic fucking steps back. We got to be realistic here when we analyze this show. I see a lot of people very happy about the last segment with ENZO and CASS. But let's remember, first of all, we all saw it coming. They even spoiled the fact that CASS might have attacked himself. You could see everybody, even right now, I'm not saying that wrestling always has to be unpredictable. Not saying that, they have to make it completely unpredictable, even if it doesn't make any sense. Sometimes it had been said even by Vince Russo, sometimes wrestling needs to be a little bit predictable. If you make it completely unpredictable, then sometimes it's just total chaos. You kind of have to expect certain things to happen. There is a theme. There is, a pattern to certain things. And you could say that that's a flaw, but, it was still a good segment at the end of the day. But really, you're going to remember this show just for that one segment. We always forget, besides one segment, it might have lasted 20 minutes or so. But at the end of the day, you still have 2 hours and 45 minutes of other bullshit, and you're still going to say the whole show is good. When you say a show is good, shouldn't it mean that most of the show is good? Or maybe all? Could you imagine if all of the shows? That's what we need to really think about here for a minute. Is the show, how come when we say it's a good show, it's only because of one segment or something happened? Like, I remember the night after WrestleMania 29, the WrestleMania I went to. This is when we started, the smart mark started calling it the Raw After Mania. It's when the fans really started taking over and hijacking shows. It was the same Raw that Dolph Ziggler cashed in Money in the Bank. Everybody said what a great Raw it was, what a tremendous Raw it was, and I'm even guilty myself. You could go back and watch the video. I even said how good the show was because Ziggler cashed in and won the world title, and he got something he deserved. But then I remember thinking back after doing that review and still thinking about doing that video and praising the show. I remember I ripped the whole show apart. The matches were bad, the segments were bad. It didn't feel like anything was happening right after Mania. It felt like a boring, dry show. I remember saying that the crowd was entertaining, that it was a fun crowd, because I never heard anything like that before. Little did I know that every single Raw would have the same exact crowd night after night. So it kind of lost its originality. But I was praising a show based on one segment, when really at the end of the day, it was just really a bland show with really not a lot to offer, except for one big moment that we were going to praise the whole show due to one big moment. And so I'm never going to get caught up in that again. Shows to be considered to be good have to be good the whole way through. We started off with a promo with Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. Uh, you know, why are they not addressing the fact that Joe is, you've got two Samoans here. One, who is part of one of the biggest Samoan lineages in wrestling history, probably the only big Samoan family. And you've got Joe, who's not really linked to anybody. He's not part of the big family, which I still can't even remember the fucking name of it. But they don't even talk about this. It could be like the new generation of of Samoan wrestlers against the lineage, the historic Samoan family. But they're not going to go into that because they don't like to be too interesting. They don't like feuds to be intriguing. Don't want to have don't want to have too much story. Don't want to go there. So you had these guys arguing it out. And it just, Reigns was good here in his role when he's addressing the crowd and everything. But, when Joe gets out there, it gets way more serious. I don't like Joe's promo style. Like I said, it's way too straightforward. It's too much to the point. It's too hokey. Always staring and talking in this monotone voice. It's not. This is. I don't understand why Wade Keller gets off on this guy so much. I mean, he loves Joe. He wants to twist those big nipples on Joe's chest. Same thing with Meltzer Magoo. Why do these guys praise Joe so much? What's so great about Joe? I never understood it even from the TNA days. Joe's outfit, those boring ass hideous tights he wears, the monotone voice, the straight deadpan face. I mean, I've never understood why does everybody love this guy so much. This is not really a guy that really stands out so much to me. He's just he's a fat guy. He's Samoan, but he's not the same type of Samoans as Roman Reigns and The Rock and the Usos, so he can't get by on that. So what's so great about this guy? It used to be in Ring of Honor that he was stiff. Yeah, we like a fat, stiff guy, and also him doing that forearm through the ropes was a big deal. Oh, somebody that fat could fly through the ropes, and also he had like a 60-minute Iron Man match with CM Punk, and the internet praised Joe, and they were criticizing WWE for not hiring a guy like Joe because he could wrestle a 60-minute Iron Man match in a high school gymnasium. Well, Joe is here. He's finally here. He gets to perform in front of an actual audience. Uh, and now we have the internet crowd completely taking over WWE. So now this is why they need to push Joe because they're catering to that niche audience. When they want to sit and think of why the ratings are collapsing. Well, maybe it's because they're pushing guys like Joe. The ratings were higher when they weren't pushing guys like Joe. And I'm sorry, I still am not going to accept this Brock Lesnar Joe match is like a serious main event. And that is probably why they're not putting it on at SummerSlam and instead putting it on at Great Balls of Fire. You ever think about why they're putting it on that pay-per-view and not SummerSlam? Why are they choosing the one with the retarded ass name and not the big show, the big A show? Well, that's probably the reason why. They're probably putting it on there because they don't have enough faith that it could draw. And I also don't even understand how this pay-per-view shit anymore works. I mean, it's like you're gonna have to buy the network. It's not buying the pay-per-view. You're asking people to subscribe to something. I don't know if it's gonna be free that month for SummerSlam, and it's not like you're getting people to do big pay-per-view buys. I don't understand how they're making money off of this, and maybe this is also another reason why they're not putting as much effort really into things. Things are only getting worse and worse. They're only going to get lazier with this approach because they know with that niche audience, all those goofballs in the audience with the CM Punk chants, they all have the network. Even I have the network. And here I am bashing the shit out of this product, but I'm not spending a dime to go to the shows, as you can clearly see. So, you've got a guy like Roman Reigns. He is probably going to end up being in the main event, the SummerSlam, which is going to make the smart marks cry their little eyes out. And the simple fact of the matter is, look at Reigns' promo style in the ring before Joe came out. Roman Reigns is way better than him, showing more personality, actually making facial expressions, actually changing the tone of his voice to match what he's saying. He's not talking like this. Let me tell you about my plans for SummerSlam. Also, the thing is, where was he last week? This is also what kind of hurts this guy's momentum. Stop worrying about what these fucking marks on the internet have to say about him. He's doing fine. Maybe if you just book him a little bit better, but don't keep him off the fucking show. You know how that looks? The same way of not having Balor there. I wasn't complaining, but you want to push Balor down our throats that hard, and you're not even going to show him for like 2 weeks straight. He's finally back on this show, but so anyway, let's just finish talking about this. I'm going a bit long, but I've got a lot to say. So you had Reigns and Joe brawl it out here, and Joe runs away. Problem? I think so. Joe is going to face Brock at Great Balls of Fire. So how much sense does it make for him to run away from Roman Reigns, who is not even in the title match? He's not running away from Brock last week, so why would he run away from Reigns? He won't run away from the champion, but he'll run away from the number one contender. And they do this shit all the time. They don't think about psychology at all. There is no psychology because nobody has a fucking brain here in WWE. Let's be honest. You can't have psychology in a match when the people booking these matches and writing the storylines don't have any brains. Think about it. The main word here is psych, which means psyche. It means what you're processing things in your brain. No one is processing anything in their brains. Their brains are rotten. And that's hence the product. I mean, there you go. So you have Joe cowering from a number one contender. So how are we supposed to believe that this fat slob, who's not even a part of Reigns' family, he's a fake fat Samoan, let's be honest here. How are we supposed to believe that this fake fat Samoan could beat Brock Lesnar, a former UFC champ, a real fighter, a guy who could kill somebody in real life? How are we supposed to believe that he could beat him? I don't believe that he could beat him, but, try to convince me that the guy is tough. It might be fake, but fuck. I mean, try to convince the YWC champ that this fat buffoon could actually beat him, because I don't think that he can. If this was a real fight, I think, Brock would probably take his fat rolls and slap it across his face. I mean, that's what I think would happen. Up next, you got the Hardys defeating the best things since sliced bread. And if you don't know who that is, pay better attention to my reviews because they wrestled in Japan, guys, and they're jobbing out. They're doing a wonderful job here. So, I find it funny about the best things since sliced bread. These guys, these two, vanilla bald guys, they were heralded as, great gets from Japan. These guys were going to take over the WWE, and as soon as they made it to WWE with AJ Styles, these guys were going to improve the whole product. Now, how are two bald guys going to do this, without the proper booking and the proper hype and the proper storyline writing? Beats me, but, once again, the YWC thinks they know best, so They spent the better part of a year chasing the tag titles. They lost like something 15 times to New Day. Finally, they get the belts. They can't beat New Day, so they beat the guys that beat New Day and they win the belts. Then they drop the belts at Mania, and then they've been jobbing ever since. I mean, what is the logical sense of having two guys like this that chase the titles for so long, lose the titles, and now they're not even threats? I mean, these guys they're never going to win the belts again. If anything, they're going to get released. You've got a guy like Gallows who's like 6'7", could be a monster, and Carl Anderson has shown personality. So I will say that these are guys that do have genuine worth to them, other than the accolade that they've wrestled in Japan. I mean, you could really make a case for these guys that they deserve better, but you know they're the best thing since sliced bread, so the wrestling ability is enough. The people got to realize, and you look through history of who the most successful wrestlers were. Do you think that, the best guys are the ones who did the most moves and the most holds and, knew how to do a Michinoku driver from the top rope? I don't think so. Look at the ones who have drawn the ratings in the past. Unless you live in fucking Japan, that's not even here nor there. Up next, you got Goldust cutting a promo. And like I said, I genuinely enjoy this, but can we get Goldust in the arena or something, or show him in a different location? Because I'm sick of staring at this guy's back. I understand we're doing the director chair gimmick, great, but it's time to switch this up. I mean, it's like certain guys are on repeat week after week. Guys are on repeat. They don't do anything with them. They do absolutely fucking nothing with them. They just, say, okay, well, do the same thing you did last week. It worked. Or we're telling you it worked. So doing the same thing over and goddamn over again week after week, it's not gonna really cut it. Hold on a second, gotta close this window here. A little bit too many distractions. Anyway, sorry about that. Driving me nuts. Too many dogs barking. Gonna ruining my review as I'm trying to talk about jobbers here and how Japan is not the answer to saving the WWE. Um, Interesting to note, I was watching a video of when Hogan was over in Japan, and he said that the WWF belt was like a toy belt. I don't know how much they paid Hogan to say that, but damn. Anyway, Finn Balor came out to interrupt Elias Sampson, and Sampson's got the charisma. He's entertaining. I like the shtick. I don't know how long like I said, they could get away with doing that week after week of having him come out there and just singing a song according to the town he's in. They changed it up. They had, Balor interrupt him. Balor comes out and he just stares at him like a retard. This is how you start a feud nowadays. You just go up to a guy and stare at him like, with a Samoa Joe face, with a total deadpan face. He's not even showing any emotion, this fuck boy. I mean, for God's sakes, he just comes up to him and just stares at him. I mean, what is it? Is he attracted to him or something? I mean, like, we say something. I mean, say anything about the guy. I mean, you think that Elias Sampson is sexy? You like his eyes? You like his hair? You like his beard? I mean, he's just staring at him. But once again, Finn Balor is great. He could do no wrong. But, and here's the desperation you could clearly see. What is his moniker? The charismatic Finn Balor. Is that a nickname? The Texas Rattlesnake, the Phenom, the Great One, the Big Red Machine, the Hardcore Legend. Uh, you know, uh, And what is Finn Balor, this A-lister, this top WWE guy, what do they call him? The charismatic Finn. They're not even calling him the Demon because he hasn't been the Demon in almost a year. Hasn't even played that role in almost a year. Oh, Brad, he's only been back for a couple of months. Oh, okay. But, thing is, we've even seen where Finn's had a little promo where he even, or a little interview online where he said that, he likes wearing his cute little jacket. He likes wearing his cute little jacket, doesn't want to even wear the paint anymore. So is this a matter of them letting Finn Balor control what he does? Is fuckboy Balor telling them he doesn't want to be the Demon? You could even see that. I saw in the last couple of weeks they were even losing faith in this guy. They didn't even have him on TV after he lost that number one contenders fatal five way. It looked like they were drifting away from Finn Balor. You could clearly see that they don't have a big story for him. They just kind of shoehorned him in there. Wasn't Dean Ambrose feuding with Elias Sampson? Now all of a sudden they just throw goof boy, fuck boy in there. This is, they don't know even what to do with their own guy that they're promoting. Well, we know that the people on the internet like him, so we got to do something, okay. So having him stare at another man is the way to go here. So he's out there for a match. So I guess the YWC will make that excuse for why, Fuckboy was there staring at another bearded man. So he has the match with Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas has got a new look. I guess maybe are they thinking of aligning him with Bray Wyatt because of the beard and the long hair? Many people have kind of speculated on that, but they're making him more aggressive. Bo Dallas goes out there. He loses to Fuckboy. Even though Bo Dallas looks tougher than him, I'm like totally stunned by this. You've got guys going over who look like wimps. While you've got guys that actually, look like they can kick somebody's ass, they're actually getting beat. Or not even in a role. Like, for example, like I said, the thing with Neville. If we went by looks and the way how it used to be, they would overlook Neville's height, and this guy would probably be, in the world title picture. Because let's be honest, this guy is, got a more impressive build than Big Cass, for example, and he's bigger than him, but not bigger than him. Cass is just taller. So they're not going by that. They're just going by who's more popular, who's more popular in the IWC. That's all they really think about. They only think about the IWC week after week. How's the internet going to react? Who the fuck cares how the internet's going to react? The internet's full of a bunch of fucking idiots. And that's what I say week after week. Look at all these damn hentai fapping weirdos that you've got on the internet. That this is who you're trying to please, so you can sell a couple of unicorn T-shirts to New Day fans. I mean, come on. You have all this stupid, effeminate shit like Finn Balor. This is what drives me nuts about people. Finn Balor, this guy is worshipped by these morons. And, I was even looking when he came out. People don't even care about him anymore. This is why they need to stop caring what the internet thinks, because these guys have a very short attention span. They worship one guy week after week, and then they get tired of him. They're just basically messing with WWE week after week. These people don't even know what they want. That is why they shouldn't be writing for the internet. They should be writing for everybody. And fuckboy over there is not going to put any asses in the seats. And I think it's pretty much been confirmed by now. So then Seth Rollins comes out for a promo. Hey guys, you like video games? What a nerd. what a nerdy promo from Seth Rollins. I mean, my God, what a totally unrelatable promo. This guy is like who wrote this shit for him? It's almost like he was like, I don't know what kind of style you consider this kind of promo, but he sounded like a total geekwad. Okay, congratulations, you got on the cover of 2K18. He's very out of place. I wrote this on Facebook the moment I heard about, they were going to put him on the cover. I was like, why would they put Rollins on the cover at all? It's not even like he's the top guy anymore. You know, like he's not the main eventer. Just put somebody. The Undertaker has never had his own cover. We've had Cena on the cover, Lesnar on the cover. So why don't we at least put Taker? I mean, he retired at Mania. Why not put him on there? One of my friends was telling me that maybe they're gonna use him as the alternate cover. I guess when you flip the the little paper insert around, you'll have Undertaker on it. Why don't put him on the main cover, the one that they're actually going to promote? This guy Seth Rollins, people who buy this game, I'm sure you got a lot of people who buy these games because they sell pretty well. I think they still do. I don't even really know the sales figures on them, but I guess they sell pretty well. But you got people who buy this game based off of, just knowing wrestling and that they can play as guys from the past and stuff. They're going to walk by this game on the shelf and they're going to look at it and be like, who the fuck is that? Who is, like I said, I like Seth Rollins, or I liked kind of how they were presenting him in the past as a heel. Maybe like 1 or 2 years ago. I was never completely thrilled about the way how they were, taking the direction of his character. But the guy's talented, and he has an okay look. He doesn't really stand out. But the thing is, he's shouldn't be on the cover, guys. He shouldn't be on the cover. I mean, you look at the past wrestlers they had on there: Cena, Stone Cold, Brock Lesnar, and then Seth Rollins. Okay, I understand that they wanted to make a little bit of a leap here and be like, okay, well, now we want to put a guy that's like really new on the cover. We want to make a difference here. Probably the newest person that they had was CM Punk. His face didn't really make it on there. It's kind of like the bottom of his chin and his hands and his wrist tape. But that was about it. I'm like, yeah, but Seth Rollins is not really that recognizable. Do they realize that? That the casual fans that want to pick up this game are not going to really recognize Rollins? I mean, this is not a big star compared to who you had on there. So back, Seth Rollins is talking about the game, and he says, "This is our cover." What a lame ass promo. I mean, you couldn't get any lamer if you tried. I mean, I want to pinpoint exactly who wrote this. And why is Rollins going for this whole inspirational speaker routine? I mean, it's almost like he's trying to motivate a group of people. I mean, maybe he's trying to motivate these internet fans to try to do something with their lives. Is that what he's trying to do? Maybe, because this whole promo, from the perspective of Rollins as a character, was totally lame shit. I mean, how is anybody supposed to watch this and be like, wow, Rollins is awesome? Rollins sounded like somebody who is not awesome. Anyway, Bray Wyatt comes out. He's talking to him on the Titantron. It says, don't use my name in vain. And then he starts coming out with the lantern. If he's there to have a fight with Rollins, why is he walking to the ring so slowly? And then Rollins dives out onto him, and then he gets stitches after the match. Kind of proving why they don't need to have a dive every fucking 20 seconds in this thing. Because, once again, Rollins gets a little bit of an injury. Not injured, but he has to get several stitches, like above his eye, because he had to do some stupid dive. And it was also very awkward. He just dives on him really quick and then walks away. The transition there is not smooth. I mean, that was as smooth as a fucking cactus, for fuck's sakes. I mean, he just dies on him really quick and walks away. And really, why did Bray like walk out that way? He looked like he was doing his normal ring entrance. If he's doing a run-in, why is he doing his whole routine? Did they even think about any of this stuff before they actually put it out there? Was it a mistake? Probably not. Backstage, you've got Fuckboy Balor again cutting a promo, and I love reading PW Torch, and I love listening to Wade Keller's reactions. He was so upset that his precious little fuckboy didn't get to finish his great promo because he was talking about. Go look at his comments. Go read the review. He goes, "Oh, I love promos where wrestlers talk about their aspirations. These are not real aspirations, Wade. These are the aspirations of a scripted character who is told to have those aspirations. These are not his real goals in life. Okay, yes, he did want to be a professional wrestler, but what he's talking about in the promo is given to him. And judging by the fact that it is Finn Balor, it's word by word scripted. Okay, especially that kind of promo. Elias Sampson attacks him from behind, and Devon shows up. Yep, he's a road agent. I didn't even hear about that. Up next, you had Akira Tozawa. I finally learned how to say that guy's name, and he beat TJ Nurkins. So this is the first ever IC champ. This whole thing, who gives a fuck? There was like 60 sentons by Akira. It's the only move he knows. But the highlight was Neville coming out. Now, this guy, he's drawn comparisons to Game of Thrones, the way how he talks with his accent. I've been saying this guy is way too charismatic, and the look he has, way too good to be a cruiserweight. Why is Fuckboy Balor pretending to be a heavyweight when you've got a guy like Neville? I will never understand that whatsoever. And this whole thing with Titus O'Neil is just very, very, very lame. He calls Neville, he goes, he's a scared little man. Okay. What is it? Every year they try to do something with Titus and they just completely fail. It's like it's time to give up already. You guys just don't know how to write for him. The guy's got charisma. I've praised this guy for years. I said that I've seen potential in him. Titus has a look. Titus also has a great track record, of doing things as a father and everything, and they could build off of that. And they've tried, but they've always fucked it up in the end. It just shows that they're given opportunity after opportunity to do things with these guys, but they fail every single time. I mean, it's called effort, guys. The guy is already offering up his natural charisma to you, and you just don't know how to write for him. Quite obvious. Up next, it was another rebuttal from R-Truth, the same formula they've been doing for over a month. I'm not saying these promos are not good, but it's almost like I want the match to just happen already because I'm just sick of it already. Just oh, what a running! Oh, I've just been attacked. Just been attacked, just like Fuckboy Balor. Oh. I've just been attacked. I'll try to finish the review. I'm going to try to finish this review here. I'm just going to no-sell it, basically. Just no-sell it. Just going to no-sell that attack. Oof. Anyway. Just do the match already. So Miz comes in the back and gives an offer to Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. And They've been doing this offer. Um, Still recovering from that attack. Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas doing this. They've been together. What was it called? The Rejects. I can't even remember what their names were. The Social Outcast. There you go. So they've been together. They've been hanging around in the back. They've been waxing each other's asses. I don't know what they've been doing, but they've been off the show for a very long time. They come back, and what do you got? Miz is offering himself. Finally, they're doing something with them, which makes sense. They acted with him in the movie, The Marine. They were in Marine 37, and so they finally go. They're actually playing off of real life. They don't seem too amused by the offer though. Then we've got our main event: uh, Samoa Joe defeating Roman Reigns. Um, Braun Strowman comes back, making a grand entrance in the ambulance, popping out of the back of the ambulance. It was great to see Braun back. They played everybody, saying that he was going to be gone for 6 months. I already said that I didn't think his injury was that serious if at the end of the match he puts both arms up in the air to celebrate. Unless, this guy is really that tough that he could lift up an arm that's, completely fucked up. Uh, I love the way how Reigns sold the Coquina clutch, choking him out at the end. Really selling that move probably better than it. Once again, they say that Reigns doesn't know how to work a match. If that's the case, how come he sells 10 times better than bitch boy taxi cab driver Sami Zayn or fuck boy Balor or fat boy Joe himself? If Reigns is one of the worst ever, how come his selling is so good? And we've seen it. We saw it last year with him and AJ for the title. Why is he so good at selling if he's always perceived to be so bad by the internet? Maybe because it's bullshit. I think so. Um, Strowman attacks him at the end, then challenges him to an ambulance match, a Great Balls of Fire, which is a match I'm actually looking forward to. Actually, looking more forward to it, I think, than Joe and Brock, because I know that Brock is just gonna win. Basically, he's gonna beat Fat Boy there. He's gonna beat him. Up next, it's another Miz Dean Ambrose storyline. Another segment with Miz and Maurice. Which is not a bad thing, but it feels like once again this is on repeat week after week. Miz is one of the most talented, charismatic guys you've got on the roster. But you choose to not do unique things with him. You keep doing the same thing. We're back to the grandfather clock. There's two bears in the ring. But it gets better. Miz smashes the clock again by accident because he's trying to get Ambrose. Ambrose almost gives him the dirty deeds. Miz blocks it, and the Bears then attack Dean. And it's Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. It's nice to have some backup for the Miz. At least they're doing something with these guys. It was a nice change of pace, to have that little sneak attack in there. Cesaro and Sheamus defeated Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. Just a very plain, bland match. And once again, uh, why are we losing here with Titus? If this guy is supposed to have a brand and he's building a brand, and this is Titus O'Neil, the Titus brand, and it's supposed to be so great. Why are they putting him in a position to look like a loser once again? This is what I'm failing to realize. Why do they make him look like a fucking loser if he's supposed to be taking Cruz under his wing? Why would Cruz hang around Titus? He's won more matches than he has. He's looking more impressive than he is. So why would he hang around Titus if his brand is already broken before it even gets started? Why would he even want to be under this guy's wing if he's not a good teacher? The logical sense is not there. And the Hardys and are supposed to have a match with Cesaro and Sheamus. So if that's the case, then why once again are we not really interacting here? We're gonna have a 6-man tag match next week to build up for the match. No interaction between these guys. Zero. There's no heat. Again, another cold feud. We're gonna have another cold match. Uh, and we've already had 2 matches with these guys, and a whole bunch of matches on Raw, mind you. Well, the 2 pay-per-view matches. Um, then you had Sasha and Nia Jax. Just feels like these bland matches keep going. You've got Alexa Bliss on commentary. You didn't really get much there, which was disappointing from Alexa. Uh, you've, who was chasing Alexa down to the ring? Was it Mickey James, I think? Oh, no, Emma. Can't even remember who's even involved in these segments. They're so bland and boring and vanilla. Holy fucking shit. Alexa hides behind Jax. Why is Nia Jax not just totally obliterating Sasha Banks here? Why is she not just tearing through her? She's a monster. Instead, she's just wrestling her in a normal style match. There was a disqualification and no contest. I don't give a fuck. I don't know what the result was. But the result was me being bored, basically. And then in the main segment of the night, thank God they went off the air with something other than a match. Instead of a bland, boring, cold match like they've been doing for, I don't know when the last time they went off the air with a segment was. Has it been like a year maybe? You had Big Cass, and then finally revealing to Enzo that it was him who attacked Corey Graves, who all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Graves just all of a sudden starts getting involved in this storyline. They like shoehorned his ass in there for whatever reason the past couple of weeks. All of a sudden, he's like now a detective. He's a commentator. He's a detective. I don't know what he is, but all of a sudden, and once again, we get like nothing on the Kurt Angle storyline thing. There's nothing on the Kurt Angle thing about this could ruin Angle. What happened to that storyline? We're we're just scrapping that one, I guess. Like the thousands of other ideas that they completely abandoned. Don't make it too interesting. But anyway, many people saw this coming. So did I. I kind of even thought that maybe they would go in a different direction. Maybe it was too obvious. But, Cass gets the big boot on Enzo. Now, I don't know if WWE is stupid enough to do an Enzo Cass feud with like one-on-one matches because, that's just going to be retarded if they do that. I mean, a guy like Enzo against a guy like Cass, when they're pretty much the whole idea of the team is that Cass had Enzo's back, not the other way around. But it was good, and Cass showed a lot of passion. And wasn't me. I think Keller did criticize him. I forget exactly what he wrote, but I think he said something about him not showing enough passion or something here, making like Cass is just McMahon's boy. Once again, if anybody's over 5'10", if anybody weighs more than 200 pounds and they haven't wrestled in Japan, that according to Wade Keller or Meltzer Magoo, that they're not deserving of anything, because if their name is not Shinzei Nakamura or Sami Zayn or Finn Balor, then they're just undeserving. That's basically how it goes according to all these wrestling journalists. Unless you actually have wrestled in Japan, you don't even know what it means to wrestle in Japan, you stupid goofballs. I mean, you wrestled in a country. Congratulations. I've said this time and time again. What does it mean truly to wrestle in Japan? I wish I had a whiteboard. We'll draw correlations and stuff to figure out this equation. What does it mean to wrestle in Japan? I mean, truly, what does one accomplish when wrestling in Japan other than wrestling in Japan? What does it mean? I don't think they even know. It's just like, oh, they become better wrestlers by wrestling in front of Oriental people. It does not make you a superior talent. You could be just as good of a wrestler if you've wrestled in Canada, if you've wrestled in Australia, if you've wrestled in the US. It doesn't fucking matter. It's all the same fucking shit. Everything has three ropes and the ring. It's the same crap. No matter what, it's just bullshit what they say. It's the same fucking shit no matter where it takes place. It's all up to the individual. It doesn't matter if a guy's wrestled in Japan. Doesn't matter if they wrestled on the fucking moon, in the fucking craters, having a fucking moon crater match. Sounds good. Maybe they could do that next for the Hardys and Cesaro and Sheamus to liven it up a bit, so it's not such a cold match. Well, there you go, motherfucker. So I like that last segment. I think there's a lot of people who actually do like that segment. There's going to be many, like, probably like Magoo, who are not going to like it because Raw didn't have a serious wrestling match. And it really drives me nuts the way Wade Keller says the fact that he didn't get to hear the aspirations of a Finn Balor. Who gives a fuck about his aspirations? Especially when it's all fake scripted shit and it's not his aspirations. He just would be happy that he had a promo, an uninterrupted promo. Oh, I bet he would love to just listen to Finn Balor read the phone book, basically. Doesn't matter what he says, he just wants to hear his lover's fucking voice. That's all it is, pretty much. Anyway, there you go, motherfuckers. This is your YWC champ, signing out.